May is over, so you know what that means. It's another monthly recap. So get ready for all the things I did and did not do in May. What I want to start with is TV shows, I think. I watched less than I have in previous months by just only a few seasons of things. But this month I watched 5 TV shows. I know, that's a new low for me. Anyways, let's start with TV shows. If you guys watched last month, you saw that I watched 1 through 4 seasons of One Tree Hill. This month, I have watched 5 and 6. I also continued watching Once Upon a Time, so I have finished season 5 and now am currently watching season 6, which is the musical episode, which I am very excited about. Still one of my favorite shows. And then a Netflix TV show that I finished this month was the newest season of Nailed It. This is my favorite show on Netflix. Like, by far. I don't know why I love this so much, but I laugh so hard at this show, and I just put it on in the background and I watch it in between doing other things. I don't sit down and focus on it, but I'm always watching and listening, and I just think this show is so fun and funny. So if you like really bad baking shows, this is the show for you. And the final season I finished this month was season 7 of the Clone Wars series finale. So it's the final season of Clone Wars, and it was lovely. I really enjoyed this entire series, and I think the series finale did a really good job. I can't recommend the Clone Wars enough for Star Wars fans. If you're worried about it being an animated series and you are a hardcore Star Wars fan, don't be. It has everything I think that we love about Star Wars and more. It has more detail and more characters, and you recognize so many people, places, and things. It's just a fantastic show. But the last few episodes really blend into episode 2 and 3, so I needed to rewatch them, which is going to take us into our movies I watched this month section. That being said, I watched Star Wars episode 2 and 3, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, just to kind of tie up all the things that happened in Clone Wars. Are these the greatest of all the Star Wars movies? No. Are they as terrible as everyone says they are? No. Revenge of the Sith, I think, did such a good job storyline wise of turning Anakin into Vader. So I don't think we would have the Star Wars universe without these 3 episodes, no matter how you feel about them. So, Star Wars episode 2, 3. Should I go back and watch all the other episodes? Yes. Give it time. I was really into kind of movie marathons this month. So I had been wanting to rewatch Star Trek, the movie with Chris Pine. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch this movie. I forgot how much I love this movie. Like, I remember that Thor was Kirk's dad. I mean, not Thor is his dad. Chris Hemsworth plays his dad. I had forgotten that Emma Swan is his mom. You know, obviously Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma Swan, not Emma Swan. And I was like so pleasantly surprised by this, but I forgot how much I love this movie. And as soon as I finished watching the first one, I had to watch the next 2 in the series. So I watched Star Trek, Love, watched Star Trek 2, also known as Into Darkness. Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, makes an appearance in this one. Then I had to watch Star Trek 3, also known as Star Trek Beyond, which also had Marvel characters from it. Everything relates to Marvel to me now, but anyways, great movie. This whole series is so good. I forgot how great they had made these characters and the actors they picked to portray them. Like, once Marvel came out and got all my attention, I forgot about the movies that kind of were there at the beginning too, and Star Trek was one of those series. Everybody, I think this is worth a rewatch. And then a kind of trilogy I decided to watch too was Descendants. So I watched Descendants 1, 2, and 3. It's a nice little afternoon musical break. Like, I would find myself putting it on and then I'd just be dancing to the other room to a song to go grab my computer, or it was just fun. I love the Descendants movies. I think some of my favorite parts are their costumes and how they've created these new characters, and like, I want to be a VK and wear a cool leather outfit, but whatever. I love these Disney Channel original movies. Then I kind of did a Wizard of Oz marathon. What is a Wizard of Oz marathon, Aubrey? There's only one Wizard of Oz movie. Correct, yes. So I watched the original Wizard of Oz, which is one of my favorite stories. I can't tell you why. Wizard of Oz to me speaks to me somehow, okay? So I decided to watch the original. Classic, right? As much as this is a classic, I would love to see this movie updated and remade. Not like a sequel or anything, just like remade but really well done. I know, probably never happened in my lifetime. But, so I watched Wizard of Oz, and then I watched Return to Oz, which is, as it suggests, a sequel to Wizard of Oz. Dorothy goes back to Oz, and we've got a whole new set of characters. Tik-Tok is one of our new characters in this movie, and he's one of my favorites of the Wizard of Oz universe. I just think he's so cute. As a child, I was terrified by the Wheelers in this movie. Even today, they kind of just give me the creeps. And they made a reappearance in one of the book series that I've read called Dorothy Must Die, which is a fantastic Wizard of Oz based book series. If you guys have not read this series and you're into young adult and Wizard of Oz, go read this one. It's a fun, quick little read. And in this book series, they're like creepy and smelly and gross, and it just brought back all these terrible memories of watching the Wheelers in Return to Oz. So anyways, I watched Return to Oz. Then I watched Oz the Great and Powerful, which is a newer Wizard of Oz movie. It was made just a few years ago, and it has James Franco playing the wizard and his backstory, I guess I would say, and how he came to Oz. And we even get a little bit of how the Wicked Witch became the Wicked Witch, which in this movie, everything with the witches happened too quickly and not enough, but I thought the story of Oz was believable and cute. So I think visually this movie is really pretty. Storyline, yeah, but still a good retelling Disney movie. Then, continuing in the Wizard of Oz realm, I rewatched Tin Man. This is a mini series that was on Sci-Fi back in the day, I mean years ago. I love this. It has Zooey Deschanel as the Dorothy-esque character. This is one of my favorite movie-wise retellings of Wizard of Oz. I just think it was really clever. I have it on DVD, I don't know where else you can find it, but as a Wizard of Oz fan, I love how they did this story. I don't know what else to say. This is one of my favorite Wizard of Oz retellings. It's not even a retelling. It takes place hundreds of years after Dorothy was there. So it has a lot of Wizard of Oz things that you recognize, but all new characters. I don't know. I love Tin Man. And the last movie in my Wizard of Oz marathon that I watched was The Wiz. Now, The Wiz is an all-black cast version of Wizard of Oz. It is the same storyline, slightly altered. So it has Dorothy, Tin Man, Lion, Scarecrow, and it is originally based on a Broadway musical called The Wiz. And fun fact about this movie, the guy that plays the lion on Broadway plays his role again in this live action movie. So it was fun to have a Broadway voice in this movie. But I mean, like, Diana Ross plays Dorothy, Michael Jackson plays the Scarecrow, and Richard Pryor plays the Wizard of Oz. So it really has this all-star cast, and the music in it is just fantastic. I mean, it comes from Broadway, so how can it not be? If you're also looking for some other fun Wizard of Oz things, I mean, listen to the soundtrack of Wicked. Or read the book. It's a great book. And you can always read the original Wizard of Oz. They're quick, easy, fun read, and you don't realize how many stories you've actually heard of Wizard of Oz. And one of my favorite comics that I've read is Steampunk Oz, and it's because I love steampunk and I love Wizard of Oz, and to have my two favorite things combined was just like glorious. I know there's a lot of Wizard of Oz coming at you, but if you're a fan like I am, it was totally worth just diving into everything Wizard of Oz. Okay, not only did I watch all of those movie marathons, I watched a lot of just random movies too. Starting with my second Monday of the month movie night movie, The Emperor's New Groove. I would not consider this an underrated Disney movie because I think this is a very popular Disney movie. A lot of people just forget about it. So if you haven't watched Emperor's New Groove in a while, now's the time. It's so funny and so fun. I also watched my kind of vintage movie this month was The Unsinkable Molly Brown. It's just a funny musical. I love musicals. It's an old classic musical. And then one of Mom's movie pick this month was Butterflies Are Free with Goldie Hawn. It's just this free spirit girl who moves in next door to the apartment to this guy who turns out to be blind, and just their relationship. It's just a sweet movie. And one day I was just feeling comedy, so I picked Central Intelligence. They're not as good as they are in Jumanji, but they have a very interesting relationship in this movie, and this movie is just a fun comedy. And then I was feeling Disney live action, so I watched Aladdin live action, which I did a whole review on if you want to watch that here. I really enjoyed this movie, and enough to be watching it multiple times. And of course, I love live action Beauty and the Beast, so I rewatched that one this month. And I did go to one concert this month. Not really. I watched the Taylor Swift concert on Disney Plus, and it was terrible. It was so boring to watch. When I go to concerts, I always judge concerts based on NSYNC. They put on a fantastic show. And even Taylor Swift, some of the things that I've seen of her past concerts, she puts on a show. This is not that. If you are expecting a full-blown Taylor Swift concert, this is going to disappoint you. It's just a couple dancey songs, and then it's all her either at the piano or acoustic. If that's what you're into, you might like it. But it was boring to watch. I don't recommend it. Sorry, Taylor. Love your music, but this isn't a concert. So, that brings me to my final thing I did this month, which I'm really excited about. Usually I start with my most excited things, but I saved it for last this time. I promised myself I was gonna read this month, and I read every day. And I finished one book, Queen of Eric Darkness. This is the final book in a trilogy, and you're probably thinking to yourself, Aubrey, if you read every day this month, how come you only read one book? This is why. This book is ginormous. If you have not read every single book in this world, which is the original series that has 6 books, the second spin-off which has 3 books, and this is the final of 3 books as well. If you have not read all those books, don't read this one. You can't just jump into the middle of this series. You need to read them all. So, not my favorite of all the books that they've put out, but I did read a book. Woo! That's it for June. I know that's not very exciting. I didn't do any puzzles because I'm working on this really, really hard one, and I didn't finish it in time. I didn't go anywhere because we're still at stay-at-home quarantine, working on some home improvement projects, but didn't really finish anything to be able to put it in this month's video. So look forward to that next month, but that's it for May. My name's Aubrey. I make new videos every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe and follow me on all my social media, and I will see you guys next week. You guys, I watched 19 movies this month. That's a lot. I wonder if I could watch 30 movies in one month. No.